Okay, friends, we come to the last part of our event. And like I said in the morning, we've saved the best for the last. I'm very happy to have Vivek Reddy here with us today. It is really an honor. For those of you who may not know, who may have got into the mutual fund business in the last decade or so, may not be so familiar with this name. But believe you me, that this person has changed the way the mutual fund business has been run in the country. He used to be the CEO, he was the founding CEO of India's first private sector mutual fund called Kothari Pioneer. It was later acquired by Franklin Templeton in 2002. As the founding CEO of Kothari Pioneer, Vivek had changed all the rules of the game. He rewrote the mutual fund business completely. Till Kothari Pioneer had come into the market, the norm was closed-end funds. These funds used to declare their NAV once a quarter. There was nothing called reporting of portfolios. There was nothing called an account statement. You used to get a piece of paper which was legal. And if you, God forbid, if you lost it, you would have to go through an entire process to be able to reclaim your money. And when Vivek launched Kothari Pioneer's first fund, it was an open-end fund, daily NAV. I remember before I joined the company, there were people who were writing in the media saying that such things are foolish to be done in the Indian context. Daily NAV kaise calculate karenge? 48 hours mein kaise redemptions denge? How can you issue an account statement which you can tear it up? As long as you remember your name, you can go back and ask for another account statement. Because till that time it was considered sacrilegious. Just a share certificate hota. If you lose it, then it's very difficult to prove that you were the rightful owner. And many such rules of the game were written by him. Very difficult for me to really talk about him in a coherent manner because he was my boss. He was my boss for 11 years. And he had his own unique style and flair, and he motivated us, all inspired, imaginative colleagues. And one of the wonderful things about Vivek was that he was the first CEO in the private sector mutual fund business to really have a focus and a commitment to the IFA channel. He was the first one. Many of you who've been around for longer would perhaps know that. The Kothari Pioneer was the first AMC in the country to focus on IFAs in a very significant way, in a very serious way, in a very committed way. Many of the things that you today take for granted, which is, inputs from our AMCs on soft skills and things which were pioneered actually by Kothari Pioneer. Till Kothari Pioneer had come into the market, the relationship was largely dhanda karo, application lao, commission le jao, or bye-bye. Kothari Pioneer was the first one to invest significantly in product knowledge, soft skills training and all that. So it's a pleasure to have Vivek come and talk to us today. This is going to be his second public appearance in the last 11 years. We are honored to have him here, his first one in Mumbai. May I invite Vivek Reddy to come and join us on the stage.
Wow, Prem, thanks for that rousing welcome. These days, whenever I think of the fund industry and financial services, I hope everybody can see me, right? So, okay. Couple of thoughts come to my mind. A couple of strong emotions wash over me. And since the word is like funds and finance, it's got nothing to do with investments or money or funds or returns or any of those dynamics, that come to my mind when I think of funds. It's only a couple of things. One is affection, and second is gratitude. Because I was involved in the industry for about 10 years or so, Then for the last 10 years, I've been doing a bunch of other things. But if I look at my life today, I feel that life is just wonderful. Every moment is glorious in a different kind of way. And I think the entire base and the foundation for that good feeling or good view that I have about my life and the world around me was set, by the fund industry, by my colleagues and all the advisors who worked so hard and made the organization that I was involved in quite successful, and paved the way for a nice way of life that I'm experiencing today. So I have these warm, glowing feelings whenever I think of all the individuals who are part of the industry. And so when Prem gave me this idea and this invitation to come and talk to my colleagues in the industry, which is all of you, I seized it because I know that Prem and next slides. Oh, okay. Because I know that Prem and his organization are doing good work, and they have good intention. They're very honest in their efforts. So I said, okay, now there's a wonderful opportunity. So that's why I'm very delighted to be here to spend some time with you. And now you're not going to get too much of a lecture from me on finance and all that, but what I will do is share some of the perspectives on life that I've gathered in the last 20 years. 10 years I was just like you, just totally rooted in finance and funds and selling and all the things that I'm sure you grapple with every day. The last 10 years I've been pretty much out of it, and I don't give it really too much thought. But but I thought I'll share with you perspectives from both sides. Now, okay, the first thought that I thought of sharing with you is this one about following your dreams, following your passions. Now, this is something that we are told every day, right? I mean, we hear it from all sources. Follow your dreams, do what you want to do, follow your passions. We hear it all the time. Our friends tell us, hear it on the internet, hear it on TV. Amir Khan goes and makes a movie, Three Idiots, right? I guess that is the theme of the movie, and he makes 100 crores just promoting that same message. Follow your dreams, follow your passions, indulge in your passions. You know what? I don't agree. I don't agree with this. I don't buy this. If you look at my life, I don't buy it for a couple of reasons. Number one, what if, and I think the vast majority of us, if you really think about it, what if none of us really identify a particular passion or have a specific dream in life? Okay. I can speak for myself. Throughout my life, I'm 50 years old, I never really identified and had a specific dream or a specific passion, and I didn't wake up when I was 16 years old and think to myself, okay, now I want to be a CEO of a fund, or I want to be a great tennis player, or whatever it is. So I think this calling of a dream or a passion is not something that is universal, is not there in everybody. So to my kids or any young people I meet, or to anybody I meet, it's okay not to have a driving passion, or it's not even natural to have a preordained dream that you need to follow. So it's quite all right not to have any dream or any set passion also. And the second thing is, typically when people talk about follow your passions, follow your dreams, have you ever noticed that all these dreams and passions are typically what? Dream and passion will be either something creative, it will be music, or it will be food, or it will be some trekking or travel, or some creative, so-called creative activity like that. Whereas things like finance, advisory, accounting, engineering, whatever, most of the jobs that all of us work in, they are never in the category of hobbies or passions or dreams. Passions and dreams are usually, something else. Usually on the creative side or on the artistry side. According to me, this passionate approach, or following your dreams, has got nothing to do with the line that you're in. Every element or every activity that you pursue whether it's advisory or whether it's music or whether it's food or whether it's trekking or nature or whatever it is. Every profession or every line of work has creative elements to it, has, you need to improvise, you need to plan, you need to be organized. There are a whole bunch of elements involved in whatever line of work you choose. So finding passion in whatever you do is the key, rather than, trying to think that, okay, this line of work I can get passionate about, and this line of work is filled with drudgery. So, that's something, because in the first 10 years, like I said, in the last 20 years, I was involved in funds and, in the same world that all of us, are involved in today. And the last 10 years, I've been indulging in a whole bunch of different activities, wide variety of hobbies and pursuits. And according to me, it's exactly the same. My whole way of being, the whole way of thinking, or the way I pursue financial services, or the way I pursue travel, or design, or architecture, or landscaping, or farming, it's essentially the same. Except that perhaps in the last 10 years, when I've indulged in all these other pursuits, I've gotten into a bit more level of detail than I did when I was the head of an organization. And I'm kind of enjoying the details a bit. The kind of things that I would have thought my vice presidents did or my managers did at the branch level, those are the kinds of levels of details I'm indulging in today. And I kind of have fun, getting into a fair level of detail and getting hands-on with a whole bunch of different things. So anyway, so that's my thing about following your dreams, is that the dreams is not necessarily any one activity which is unrelated to what you're doing today. You can follow your dream, right here in financial advisory. There's plenty of scope to find passion in what you're doing. There's so much of creativity possible, there's so much of, there's so much of thinking, so much of planning, and it can be such an interesting dimension in life that you don't really need to pursue or think of some other calling or, avenue to say that, oh, this is boring, this is drudgery, maybe I need to leave this, and maybe my true happiness lies somewhere else. I think true happiness can be found right here in the things that all of you are engaged in day to day. Now getting to, getting a bit more specific on your world and your client relationships. I would think that having stepped back and kind of looking from the outside and having a very dispassionate view, I think one of the keys to success is, focusing on the real things and kind of like ignoring the unreal. And what do I classify in the unreal category or the trivial things? Almost everything that we deal with today. Markets, regulations, changes in, maybe the fund manager ownerships. All those to me are completely trivial. They're not really of any great consequence or significance. In the last 20 years, the first 10 years I was actively watching. The last 10 years, as a distant spectator. I can't think of a single significant event that has happened in the financial markets. And in the next 20 years also, I don't think a single event is going to happen of any significance. I mean, in 3 months' time, a new government can come to power, whoever it is. It's not significant. According to me, it's of no consequence. It's entirely insignificant. Okay, can you name one significant event in the last 20 years in financial markets? I can't think. Okay, go ahead.
Lehman crisis. The Lehman crisis.
What happened? It came and went, but what happened? 5 years later.
At that time, it looked like it's the end of the world.
Yeah, at that time. But now looking back, what's the big deal? Okay, let me put it to you this way. I think exactly 20 years ago, I don't know who was with me in that journey. I know that Prem just started. He was there almost at the very beginning. I think in November 93, we launched a couple of funds called Blue Chip Fund and Primer Fund. Our organization did that. And just assume you had invested in that fund, in those funds, and you'd gone to sleep for 20 years, okay? And you just woke up today, or you just woke up. What would have happened? What would you have missed out? And in between, so many hundreds of crisis situations, so many discussions, so many things have happened, right? Between you and your clients, clients got worried, you got worked up, you had so many conversations with them, okay, now what do we do, where do we go? Let's say all that had not happened, and you had invested in the original funds, 20 years ago. And you just left the money there, gone to sleep, forgotten all about it, did some fun things in life, and then you revisited your portfolio 20 years later. Would you have been a lot worse off than if you had put your mind in and got worked up and got worried and all that? Absolutely, I don't think it would have made much of a difference. So that's what I'm trying to say, that even if the actual happenings in the financial markets are really not of that much significance. Maybe you can monitor it, but definitely in your conversations with clients, you got to really tone it down and not really focus so much on those things. The things that really matter, though, which you really need to focus and which all of us need to pay a lot of attention to, is the client, his mindset, his stages in life, what's happening in his life, what is his psychology, what are the various stages in life that he's going through. So I think those are and how is your relationship with him evolving? Is he perceiving you to be a trustworthy, intelligent, hardworking, custodian of his wealth? Once you focus on that, and I think, this kind of preoccupation with which fund is doing well or which fund is not doing well, or, what's happening in the markets, I think ignore that, or, worrying about, what the regulator's doing or not doing, or what the fund house is doing about structures and brokerages and all those things. I think those things are really not of, those are just trivial things. Focus on the real thing, and I think that's the key to success. Okay, now how do we do that? Be different in a natural way. Now you want to engage with your clients, right? And you want them to remember you. You want to establish that deep bond that I was talking about, because I said that that's the key to success, and not really necessarily tracking the market and all those things. Now, obviously, if you want to be remembered by them and you want to be trusted, you want to, you got to be a bit different. You can't keep saying the same things that everybody else has been saying or that they've been hearing for forever and ever. You have to be a bit different. So what I mean by different is that, like I said, I think the conversations with them should kind of go easy on the technicalities of the market or the new products being brought about, or the implication, because that's what they're trusting you with, and that's not really their care in life. Their care in life is that they want to have a better life. They want to grow as a person. They want their money as a means to an end for them. So they want you to take care of those things for them. So, discussing how you're going to do it is, okay, you can just speak about it a bit, but I think the language should be much fresher. It should talk about things that concern them, what's happening in their life. And when I say in a natural kind of way, I would think that, even a setting which is different from a normal, in Bombay, it's a very crowded city, it's a very urban, it's a kind of a urban jungle. If you can get out there and create a nice, memorable or a natural setting where you meet your clients, and then, then they can remember you, rather than in a small kind of an office, the usual, where you kind of go with the flow and you meet up with him and with them in a natural setting, and so it kind of goes into their swing of things of what they care about in life. Okay, enjoy your independence. To me, one of the most fundamental strengths or the most valuable thing in life lies in that word, independence. And I think that's what I've sort of like taken a lot of effort to remain that way myself in the last 10 years, and I think that's what I assume all the individuals, all your friends here you're all independent financial advisors. So there itself, I must congratulate you and applaud you that you've taken a decision to be masters of your own destiny, control your own fate. And I think that especially in this line of giving financial advice or taking care of money, the assets of people, being independent is so important. Where you follow your own convictions and you advise them in the way that you think is best for them, and you're not driven by the goals of a larger organization, whereas you can follow your own instincts and and advise your clients as to what you feel is best for them. And of course you can set your own time, grow at your own pace. There's a tremendous value to being independent, which I'm sure that all of you are enjoying. Maybe there are great challenges also, because you kind of feel like alone and that there's no big organization behind you. But trust me, any time between being small and being master of your own destiny, as opposed to being a small piece of a very large organization where you so-called feel secure with the large organization behind you, I would always choose the first part. Small is beautiful. So I applaud you on your choice, and I hope that all of you realize the potential and all the advantages of being independent. Okay, stay in control. Yeah, but having been independent, I think you should utilize the advantages of being independent, which is that when I say stay in control, I mean that be in control of your time. Because all this that we are gathered here today, it's your business, clients, money, all this is only a means to an end, which is a more satisfying life on your part. So clients are important, business is important, everything that you've discussed or that you're here today is important. But it's not as important as leading a much more fulfilling and much more wholesome life. So don't let your business and your work take control of your life. Ensure that the special events in your life you also give a lot of time and importance to. I would say that if I remember my stint of 10 years at work, the things that I do remember are, I would say, all the non-work things, the friends, the meetings with friends I had, maybe some children's birthday party. Those are the events that you tend to remember. And all the things there's so many wonderful things that happen at work, but they all tend to be in a blur, right? So it's at a personal level, your friendships, your relationships, it's things like that you need to give a lot of importance to, and not necessarily allow your work and your clients and all that to take control of your life. So to basically have a good, healthy work-life balance, which you can do when you're independent, because you can set the tone for your own, how much you want to engage in your productive pursuits and how much you want to keep for yourself. And you should also definitely weave your health into your daily way of life and daily way of working. Make sure that there's no compromises on that. There's no point making lots of money or being successful if you have to give up your health. So ensure that every day you're building on your health, your bank of health, as opposed to your bank of just advisory income. That's equally important, as all of you know. Okay, I'm going to come to sort of the end of my talk, and then we leave it up to any interaction that you may wish to have, because this, like Prem said, this is probably about the longest speech I've given in the last 10 years or so. What I'm claiming is that what all of you are doing is not really work. It's not really work. It's a lot of fun, right? Because, I mean, you have a chance to connect with people. You have a chance to, understand new things that are happening every day. You have a chance to be creative. You have a chance to improvise on situations. Each individual is different, requires different solutions, requires a different way of being approached. So, there's so much of, it's so interesting and it's so creative that according to me, this whole vision or the view when you wake up in the morning and say that I have to go to work, I think that's probably, you should stop saying that. You must say that, hey, I'm wake up now, I have to go and have some fun. So, okay, in the family, and then, at least that will startle your family and they'll say, oh, wow. And then at least they'll perk up a bit and say, they may not think that you're not such a boring guy or a person that you have to go to work. So, at least arouse some interest at home. And then you can define what that fun is. But basically, I think that's how you got to define what you're doing. You're just having fun. Okay, you're going to get paid for it, you're earning some money, but that's a byproduct. Okay? And according to me, what you're doing really has a potential. If you really think about it, it really has a potential. There's so much of seeds of elements of fun involved in what you're doing. If you think deeply enough, it's just, it's really, you'll discover a whole bunch of things to excite yourself when you get to work. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to conclude with this. It's all the spirituality and service you'll ever need. If you think about all the dimensions of our life, okay, we have work, we have family, we have health, we have hobbies, we have all that. We also think of the spiritual dimension, right? We also think of the service dimension. We want to give back to society. We like to help people. We like to, we like to work in, or we like to contribute to charity. All that is not necessary. If you do this work well, what you're doing well, it's all the spirituality and service you'll ever need to do. Because according to me, if you find the real purpose that you're taking care of your clients' lives and you're really handling them at a very, very fundamental and at a very deep level, because you're really engaged in an activity that's so important to them that can make such a big difference to their lives. And if you can define what you're doing as changing society or changing individuals' lives in a fundamental kind of way, then that to me is you can get so much satisfaction in terms of the amount of service or the amount of meaning and purpose that you have in your lives. It's all the spirituality and service you'll ever need. Yeah, so let me thank you for this opportunity. Like I said, I've had some wonderful times while working in the company that I was involved in, and I see a lot of familiar faces over here, and had some great times with all of you. And so yeah, it's been a real pleasure, and I want to thank all of you.
I think Prem has picked up last one very interesting, which none of them expected, and I'm very excited to know in the past 10 years, what are the pursuits that you have in your life? Thank you.
I think, like I said, it's exactly the same as what probably all of you are indulging in. Every day has been different for me. It's a life of choice, but then yours is a life of choice too. Specifically, I devote a lot of time spend a lot of time with my kids. I play tennis a lot. I look after my health. I do a bit of training. I try farming. I explored the field of education. I spend a lot of time on design and architecture and landscaping and doing up some spaces. I have a strong interest in that area. Because I think physical space and the whole setting has a lot of bearing on how people think and how they act, and I think that's probably relevant to you as well. If you can get you and your clients, you get them together in a nice space, and becomes a very memorable thing. Because the one thing that I think that you would want them to do is to remember you well. You know, after you meet with them, before you meet with them, they have to look forward to meeting with you. There has to be something about you that excites them. You know, each time they meet with you, they should feel that, hey, you know, he's giving me an idea or some thought or some direction or some sparkle in that interaction, and it is like really useful to me. And that sparkle and that idea rarely will fall under the realm of markets or you know, or funds or performances and all that. You're really not going to penetrate their consciousness by being expert in that realm. Whereas if you can give them some ideas on health, or you know, or some interesting perspective on life that will startle them and make them think and make them feel better about themselves, I think that's where you have your clients. So this is one thing that you know, I've been involved in is like I said, an architecture, design. So I get hands-on in those things. I help friends out. I'm almost like a travel agent. I'm a wedding planner. So you know, I got time on my hands. So when I don't define myself as doing one thing, I find that a whole bunch of different ideas and requests, and my whole day is so filled with variety and richness. And I feel that you know, when you get inputs from different fields, you just become a much more complete and well-rounded person. So, and then you can apply things you learn from here over there, and I think just makes life very interesting and quite effective. Yeah.
Possible, can you reply one thing?
Sure.
Exit of Pioneer from India and then come back of from Pioneer to India. Whether it was right or wrong decision.
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know when they exited. I don't know when they came back.
Totally out of this.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, these things to me are fairly trivial, and they're not that significant.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So mostly this kind of thought process that you carry, there's some kind of reason why we become, why we start thinking the way you think. So in
wait. This thought process I carry is that?
Obviously the way you think is not very ordinary or regular. I would say regular, common. So what is that kind of triggered this? You are like that? You have a personality, or there are sometimes some events in our life that start this kind of, are you getting my question?
Yeah, sure. You're saying that basically I'm non-mainstream. The things I'm saying are not conventional. So what's triggered that? Or is it an experience, or I'm like genetically made that way, or?
No, some part of it is could be genetic, but usually the trigger, even for the genes, also need trigger. So what's yours?
Yeah, what's my trigger? Okay, one trigger is basically what I see. I see that people who follow the mainstream, and who are, kind of have a typical functional approach to life, which is, let me work hard, let me make money, and let me, and then I'll have my good times later, and are very, very functional or commercial in their approach. And unfortunately, that's the vast majority of people. I would say the vast majority of people are not that complete in their lives. You don't see completeness in people's lives. So I would say that the mainstream is not a place to follow, or not a place to be, simply because the results of the mainstream are very poor. You look at them, they don't feel that fulfilled. So if you can strike out on your own and follow your own path, your chances of having successful and and a complete vision of yourself and the world around you is much better than if you follow the mainstream.
Was an agent for Kothari Pioneer, and although Facebook never existed at that time, but he had a lot of fans, including me then, and I agree with what Prem has said. So you've been getting a lot of requests, you said, for various things. So if you were to get a request from the industry to change one thing that you think that all of us should, as an industry, change, what is that one thing that you think as an outsider now? You've been an insider, you've been an outsider who was inside and looking at...
Yeah, I'll change one thing. I'll change I'll introduce a bit more contentment and gratitude to everybody in the industry, within our hearts and souls. Because I feel that I've analyzed, say, this particular industry, financial services, say, compared to other industries, education, agriculture, farming, certain other things which contribute to society as much as we do. I feel that the share or the amount of importance or the rewards that we've taken for ourselves compared to what we give back to society, we've taken far more from society compared to what we give back. So I think that, and I count myself as one of the beneficiaries. I look at how much I've contributed to society and the kind of lifestyle or how much society has given back to me. There's no connection. I really feel that I've been rewarded far more than what I deserve. And I think that almost applies to everybody in the industry. Perhaps the most real and the most, and I think definitely applies to my colleagues, the investment people and say the bank distributors and anybody who makes 10, 20, 30, 40 lakhs of, salary. I think those guys are paid, or all of us, not those guys, all of us are paid quite richly. So I think that if at all there's a feeling that, but once you're in there, you're always thinking that, oh, I should have got more, I should have got less. I just feel that, we should feel that quite content and that we've been very fortunate to be in this industry. Now, I know that in this particular group, there's a lot of honesty, there's a lot of naturalness, there's a lot of very real sentiments and real work happening. So maybe that sentiment is not really applicable to the IFA group as such, but if somebody, somebody on the sell side, some brokers, and anybody making whatever, drawing more than 10, 20, 30 lakhs a year, I would say that to them, I would say that stop, just enjoy and feel satisfied that you're really being paid far more than or you're being paid adequately, and don't. So I would say that contentment and being happy with your position and feeling fortunate that you're part of this industry, I think that is the subtle emotion that I would change. Because definitely this is a very aggressive industry. There's a lot of restlessness. There's a lot of ambition, desire, growth, whatever. But at the same time, the big picture is you got to keep it in mind that you are in a fortunate place. While you can aspire for further growth and further prosperity and all that, keep in mind that you have a good thing going. So feel happy, feel satisfied. So that's a sweeping change that I would like to see, just wash across or sweep across the industry. Thanks. Thanks, Joe.
Okay, friends, we've come to the end of the session today, end of the event, in fact. And Vivek just thought we should share something with you.
Oh.
On behalf of the entire gathering here, not just on behalf of Capital Mutual.
Thanks. Oh, thank you. Wow. Thank you.
Okay, this is our third event that we've conducted. The earlier two events were in grander places, had a bigger audience, had speakers who were big names in the industry. I have not seen a spontaneous downpouring of emotion as I've seen today. Okay, so by this time, by the end of the day, actually people are walking out before the last thing gets over, right? You were there, many of you have been there. This is the first time when I'm seeing people hold themselves back. So thank you, Vivek, thank you for being with us. Anyway, we come to the end of the day. Want to just make a brief address you, give you a thank you note. Thanks to all of you for being here. Thanks to those IFAs who have come from outstation in particular. Like I said, many of our friends have come here from distant places. I hope that you've got whatever you've come to seek here. Bhusawal se, Kolhapur se, Bina se, Coimbatore se, Goa se, Nasik se, so Vadodara se, and so many other places. Sorry? Jharkhand. Wow, wonderful. So I hope we've made it worthwhile for you. Thank you for being with us here. This event would not have taken place as happens. Any event requires certain resources, certain things to be met. Would not have been possible without our sponsors. So our platinum sponsors have been Sundaram and ICICI Prudential. A big hand for all of them. Okay. As you would have seen, this is perhaps the only event that you would have attended where there is no quid pro quo attached to sponsorship. किसी ने आपको कोई product का भाषण आज नहीं दिया. No one said how he was superior or his product was superior to anyone else. That's what we strive to do in events like this. Okay. Our thanks to our gold sponsors also, Reliance Mutual Fund and UTI. Our other partners have been Value Research. Our knowledge partners have been Value Research. Big thanks to BSE for allowing us to hold the event here today. Thanks to LIC Nomura, and finally, thanks to NJ, who've been very supportive. So thank you. One last announcement. All the presentations should be up by tomorrow evening. Please remember, the presentations will be up on a site called cafemutualevents.com. Not on Cafe Mutual, cafemutualevents.com. Thank you. Yeah, thanks.